What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of the Knights of Teleria. I am BLAZIN, and today on the show, we have quite a few guests on the channel. To my right, we have Mr. JR Star 3. Jay, how are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good this week. Just finished getting my champion fragment, Mr. Islin. Was not crazy hard, but put some work into it, and I'm finally done. So I'm getting ready to pull him soon. And it's been actually pretty bleak for me too. A lot of cleaning, a lot of getting organizing banks and stuff like that. So pretty good.
Nice, nice. Uh, on the top right-hand side, we have Mr. Gestal Gaming. Gestal, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Blazin. What's happening, man? Just finished up Island as well, and I'm ready for the next one. Let's hear about it this week, hopefully.
All right. Right next to you, we have Mr. FinalKenpachi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for the having me again. And I skipped the fusion, but I got the two hot ladies again, Cold Earth and the Silent Drake, so I'm happy.
Okay, okay. I did go for the Cold Heart skin on Steven's account just because I needed the Dungeon Diver points for the fusion, but yeah. And then next to you we have Mr. Horde Spore. Horde, how are you doing?
Can't complain. And no, I skipped a fusion too. There's way too many fusions and fragment champions in that faction.
Yeah. It definitely is. It was a very underwhelming fusion, I have to say. It wasn't, one of the ones that you must get. But for myself, I have currently completed the fusion on my main account. And I'm, just finishing up a couple of things on Steven's account, and then we'll just hold it for a CVC or something. We'll have to see what we're going to do with that one. But, so, how was everybody's week been with the whole drama of the primal shards? Are we excited to talk about this? Let's start off with Jay.
Yeah, man, it's kind of like what we talked about last time on the previous podcast. I said it was going to be kind of like a glorified ancient. They weren't going to make it too hard to get, which I was happy about that. But we were kind of crazily like mind blown at the prices, which we'll go a little bit deeper. But overall, yeah, I think it's actually people hate it. Some people hate it. Some people, love it. I actually think it's okay. But it just the thing with Plarium, it's not what they put in the game. It's sometimes how they implement things in the game. Great is such a great game. It's just sometimes their implementation or the way they do things might seem shady or like not as what the community would like. But it is their game, so we have to at least respect that decision.
Okay. Okay. Kenpachi, what about you?
I agree with the J. I don't know why there is a drama. I don't know any one of you, any one of the player was thinking this obtain the mythical champion gonna be easy. Like I don't know what was their expect. To be honest, I'm looking the thing on the bright side. We are getting one free from the daily login, so in the 300 months we can get one mythical champion to trigger our mercy. Joke aside, we was thought it's gonna be way harder than obtain them. To be honest, there's a couple of the way to obtain them. They said more stuff is coming, more PV stuff is actually coming. Obviously, we don't know the difficulty, how hard to be obtain them, stuff like that. But especially get a mythical champion, I was thinking like gonna be lower than 0.5% because getting legendary champion is 0.5% from engine. So we thought it's gonna be lower than that. I'm okay with the 0.5% drop rate, to be honest. And another thing makes me super happy. They are not that broken. Which is I'm totally fine with that. There is the player in play point champion, CHR or whatever her name. Like the only way to very fast obtainer is to spend the money, and I'm okay the people who spend the money and they get her. It doesn't bother me because she's not gonna be not gonna have on the progress that much. And mythical champion not that obviously terrible champion, but especially on the DPS. Like I just look a couple of the tier 3 content creator video from the test server. They are not scary, like I prefer my enemy mythical champion have mythical champion instead of the Taras Maricha, to be honest.
Okay. Hotspur?
What's up? What's the question again? Mythicals?
The drama going on. What are your feelings about it? with the
I mean,
mythical
it's
champions?
right. There's always going to be people that say something bad about it. Then there's going to be people that say something good about it. Nothing that you could do in any game will please everybody completely. There's always going to be a group that has something bad about it, just so they can see how many people they get to follow. Pretty much. I mean, I think it's simple. It's easy. I mean, yeah, they're okay champions. They're not like, oh, got to spend $1,000 just to get it to win. No, there's plenty of champions that are better than. I mean, the Wolf one is the best one, I think. Obviously, I mean, not bad looking either. Great personality. I mean, wouldn't mind getting her.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
All right. Buster's Choice, welcome to the stream, my man. Thank you for joining us. So let's start with the creator question of the week for your community to get to know you a little bit. Now, this week's is going to be, what is your favorite alcoholic beverage that you use to either, while you stream or just to kind of wind down or just your go-to choice? I will start this with Hordspor first.
Actually, Thursday I'll have 19 months sober, so I don't drink.
Okay, good to know. All right, Kempachi?
I mean, I tried red wine, white wine, beer. That's all actually. I didn't like them. I don't know. Maybe they was just bad one. I'm not kind of like alcohol person. Maybe I don't know how to drink. But so far, whatever I drink, I didn't like. I prefer Coca-Cola or the coffee, But I like to try the whiskey, actually. They are so expensive. They must be good, right? I guess.
Allocateds are always expensive.
Yeah, might I suggest Johnny Walker? And if you're going to go for the first time and try it out, really good, go for a Blue Label. It's a little pricey on the shots or the bottle, but
Very pricey.
it's definitely worth it.
Let's go with Crown Royal. Crown Royal Apple, you'll be.
Mr. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I'm honestly not a big drinker myself, but I guess I would say I like. I used to be real big into like gin and tonics, like in my early 20s, I guess. But I heard tonic's real bad for you, so like if I'm gonna have a drink now, I have a gin gimlet, which is basically they just put a ton of lime in with the gin and some ice.
Okay.
So that's I don't know. I like that. I've never been into the darker liquors, the whiskeys and the scotches. I don't like that smoky. I don't like that on my palate, man. I don't like that.
Like the Grand Marnier.
Okay.
Isn't that orange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sweet though, very sweet.
Yeah, I don't like
You can let it on fire too.
Nah.
Jay, what about yourself?
I can't really drink too much anymore because of my stomach, but when I used to drink Hennessy, Patron, Bacardi, I love I love actually to drink actually. And Jack Daniels, nice little Jack Daniels sometimes. Honestly, anything that just feels good. I'll have some wine too. But honestly, you don't want to go too overboard. It's like spending too much in rate. You should just drink a little bit. Drink responsibly.
Right. So for myself, as just like Jay just said, drink responsibly. I do work as a UPS driver by day, so I got to be careful, right? Going out and drinking is not something I do, nor do I support it. But when I'm at home, when we have the holidays, that's a whole different season. That's a whole different time. And Johnny Walker preferred is green or higher. If I'm just kind of having everybody at the house, I usually go with like a Johnny double black. And that's kind of what I like to drink. And I only do shots. I don't like to sit there and sip it for some reason. I don't know. But the beer of choice would be a Sam Adams, except as long as it's not a coffee, pumpkin, or chocolate flavor, I'm pretty good with the rest of them. So, yeah. All right, so this week we've got a lot of hot topics. We've got raid content creators quitting because they feel, they have certain feelings about how the game is currently going. Horde, what did you just do?
I think I clicked one of the YouTube thing, thinking
Okay.
it would take me to the channel.
Um, and then we are gonna, we're gonna talk about this. I guess I could call it a disaster of the primal shards of how it's been released, and we'll give our thoughts about that. But and Nick, welcome to the stream. Anybody out there who is lurking, welcome to the stream as well. So let's get into the big one first, which is going to be we have Mr. Mac-Chan quitting Raid, right? Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Mac-Chan has been a player, endgame player, for a very long, long time. I want to say it's been over 3.5 years. I started watching him when I was fairly early on. And he, when you want to talk about whale Kraken, he was one of them. He was $1,000 a week, $1,500 a week sometimes, right at the beginning to be able to, get what he wanted for his account, right? So, no, I've watched the video, and I don't know if anybody else has watched it, but I do have some mixed feelings about it, and we'll kind of go through it and talk about it. But let's go ahead and start the video first. We'll skip through his little opening. Whoop.
Probably gonna be the last time I say this, at least for a while, because as the title says, I'm going to leave Racial Alliance for a while. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna quit completely and never come back. It's not like that, but I decided to at least take a long break from the game. It is a hard decision.
So, taking a break from the game is one of the first things he's talking about because, I guess Raid can be a little overwhelming for a lot of the players, right? I mean, we have so many things to do in game. And it does require, if you want to maintain progression, for you to be logging in quite often, right? Almost every day for you to be able to continue. So it is, I get that part. It can be a little tasking, but it's time. It's good to take some breaks here and there, right? It's good to take breaks.
Decision to make, to be honest, because I played this game for almost 4 years, and I grew my channel from scratch because of Racial Alliance. So I want to thank all you guys for your support, especially for all of you guys who stick with me from the beginning. I started this channel in 2020, and it's like 3 years journey. I got to almost 20k subscribers. It's a great journey. I enjoy that. And the content I did mainly is for Racial Alliance. Alright, I also did some other games, might be promo or some other game, Diablo 4. That didn't get a lot of views. So, okay. I want to talk about why I decided to take a break from the game. I'm just gonna give you my very honest opinion. The biggest reason is I kind of don't want to spend anymore. Just to be honest, alright? As you guys probably know, if you watch my old content, I was a huge spender. I was a huge spender. And I think the maximum I have spent in a month was like $2,000. That was crazy. It's not like top Kraken level, but it's crazy. And I spent a lot of money. I can probably buy a car with that money, a decent car. So I just don't want to do that anymore, because start from earlier this year, I just feel like I have to spend, not to progress, but I have to spend just to keep up. I have to spend.
So I'm gonna stop it right there. So we off the bat come out and he's talking about, being not even being a Kraken, where his budget was about $2,000 a month is what he spent on the game over years, right? I mean, for some of us, $2,000 a month, that's a mortgage payment. Just like he said in the video, you could buy a car with that much money if you're spending in it. And the first sentiment he gets is he feels that for him to be able to enjoy the game and still compete, that he has to spend, not to progress, but just to, maintain his status quo if he wants to push Plat Arena, or anything like that. So I'm gonna, I want to get your perspective of this, especially because we have one of the masters of free to play over here, Mr. Kempachi, and we're gonna actually start with you first. What do you think? Do you agree with what he said that he needs to spend to maintain himself
Competition.
to beat the competition and to maintain his status? Like, he feels that if he does not spend, that he's just going to fall off the map.
I mean, I really don't know how much money he spent so far, but he should be fine. Maybe over 1 year. Even he's just stopped spending now, he can be still competitively active on the platinum. The amount of the money he's spent already should be carry him. And again, like, obviously, if you are aiming like top 10 platinum, yes, I mean, I think we can clearly say it's impossible as a free to play. Before the Taras Maricha become meta, I managed to land number 60. But I never did it again. I did a couple of like below top 100. But after Taras Maricha is released, there is no way. I mean, people are using Taras Maricha to beat Taras Maricha. Like, this is how stupid it is. I mean, and it's not even fun. It's long fight. You are clicking, keep clicking your left button, using your same ability to kill the Taras first and stuff like that. It's not fun. But at the same time, I always say that like, spending money is kind of killing the fun. I give the example, like, you guys know the Dark Souls game, like one of the hardest games. Dark Souls, Elden Ring. Like, yes, you can beat this game if you use like cheat. Like, there is some program can make you infinite HP, so boss cannot kill you and you can one shot the boss. But end of the day, like, when you beat the game, it doesn't give you fun. You are not, oh, it's over. Oh, that's it. But I beat the game, Elden Ring, on the stream. I was almost crying. This is how fun is this. Like, on his level, whenever he pulled good legendary champion, he's not getting fun anymore. Oh, I'm gonna make +3 my second Taras, something like that. But whenever I got something good, damn, it's amazing feeling. But yeah, I understand him. I totally understand. It makes me sad to see him quitting. I see Mei-chan like pretty long time. I also playing same as long him. But yeah.
Okay. Gestal, what about you? What do you think? Do you agree with what he said there?
Well, honestly, I kind of came to this same epiphany when Soulstones came out about, I don't know, a year and a couple months ago. I was like, you're just gonna have to keep spending to keep up with these guys. Like, I'm not willing to do it anymore. But I wasn't like there wasn't like really any part of me that was like, I'm gonna quit the game now. It was like, all right, I'm gonna just kind of like, I'm gonna take what I got, man. I got a pretty nice pool here, and I'm gonna do my best with it, and then I'm just gonna hard focus certain champs. I save every single shard. I say, like, I only pull, like, now I'm only pulling voids on 10x's of champs that I want. I save ancients and sacreds for fusion or fragment events. So just basically trying to play like a free-to-play player would, managing resources and trying to, maximize where you can. And frankly, I'm having more fun with it. And as Kempachi just said, like, I mean, after so many tries of going for Taurus, it was, the last 10x, I had saved up like, I don't know, 160, 170 voids from the previous Taurus 10x. And I think it was my eighth time pulling a Lego during his 10x's, and I finally hit it, man. Like that was like a great feeling. It was a way better feeling than if I dropped like $1,000 to try to get that. So I'm almost enjoying the game more. And like, if I could, I don't know if Max Jan's gonna watch this or whatever, I'd say give that a shot, brother, because I know that account is ridiculous. I've been watching it for probably as long as it's been up, and he's been putting out, great comms, great theory crafting, but he's always had those big time champs. And I feel now he doesn't have meta, like, it stinks. He doesn't have the Marish guitars, he doesn't have the harem or whatever else he's missing, maybe Georgia. So it stinks, and it is the harsh reality of this game. But I'd love to see him maybe go, just try to take it free to play from here. Obviously, you got to take a break, man. Take a break. Like, I get it. And he didn't say he's done, which I appreciate. He kind of led with that. So,
Right.
maybe he'll come back and just be like, you know what? I'm not going to spend money, but I'm going to keep playing. And I'm going to see what I can do. I think that'd be cool, man. And big brains like him, like, he'd probably come up with comps like nobody would think about. And he'd just be stomping people. So I think it'd be cool, man. I'd love to see him come back.
Okay. Ford, what about you? What do you think?
To be honest, never really heard of Mac Chan until I seen a video that they were taking a break from Raid and everything. And I think the one thing that is kind of redundant is when people always go, "Oh, I've spent this much money, like I'm a crackhead and everything." Like we gotta admit, like Darth Micro used to say that like every single stream. Like today is $12,000 I've spent. Next week it'll be like I'm 16,000, and it's like at the end of it, like nobody really cares how much you spent on the game. I mean, if you want to be a Kraken, like good job, you can name yourself that, but it doesn't change the fact that the account's still free to play. Technically, you're just buying energy. You're not even progressing anymore. You're buying the champs basically to stay where you're at, so you don't lose your spot anymore. Like, there's really no benefit of spending when you're at that level. Like, once you get there, like you have to start spending just to stay there. That shouldn't even be a thing. Like, there should. I mean, yeah, they have their own tiers, they have their own levels for a reason, but like Platinum Arena is not even that hard to get into anymore in regular arena because everybody forgot about it. Like, it's all about doing the tag teams now, so you can hit the dungeons a lot harder. You can progress your damage and ignore defense and speeds, and you can upgrade your other great hold, so to speak, for doing tag team. Like the regular arena, there's really no benefit of doing it at all if most people already have their regular arena maxed out. So you're pretty much at a standstill after you're that far in. Like, there is no more progressing, and it's kind of hard to believe that he doesn't have all these champions that like regular players that are free to play even have, like Sippies and Mariskas and whatnot. It's just crazy sometimes that they overlook their community and go for like how much more money can we get this week with some event that probably won't even like help other players, but we know that it will sell.
Okay. Jay, what about you? What are your feelings on it?
So I kind of felt like this was gonna happen. Didn't think it was gonna be Mac-Chan. We do have other content creators as well, kind of falling short, but he's one of the big names because back then, since like Stu and BG and stuff like that. So when I saw the video, I was like, I thought he was just like joking, like it's gonna be like kind of like I'm just taking a break for like a week or something like that. But he was being, when I watched the whole thing, I was like, wow, he's actually being serious. And then when his explanation of why. I was kind of like half and half. So I've been watching Mac Chan, like a lot of people here said earlier. They've been watching him for a long time. So have I. He's a smart guy. He's not like the best. I would say he's a 4-head player. Definitely not 5. A lot of his optimization or builds, he'll be like, "Why is this not working?" And I'm like, "Do you even play Raid?" But yeah, he's always been there to like, because since he's able to spend, he's able to build something like really fast. Hey, look, let me show you this +4. Most people can't do that. Like, so since he had the funds, he was able to show us most of that stuff. Now we have Big Papa Drock. We have other content creators who are big spenders as well. But he was one of the first ones. If you wanted to see your max thing, you'd go to him because you'd be like, oh, he has that. No way, I'm gonna have that anytime soon. So I appreciate that for them. But another thing is, if the game, right, you get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't have this Taurus Mariska, which I don't have Mariska. I do have a Taurus. I got lucky. And I can understand not getting Harima because I didn't have her for a while too, and then I got lucky on one shard. But sometimes you just get lucky, sometimes you don't. So, like, if I were him in his situation, I would just use what I have that people wouldn't see coming. That's the point of Raid, right? Is finding out different strategies to combat what you're fighting. Now I understand the combo is super OP, but come on, there's still where there's a will, there's a way. You have to put the time and the energy to it. And nowadays, when you're like top 150, 200, your other clanmates or maybe other people in Discords, they might be like sending like, I wouldn't say shots, but they kind of like, hey man, you're not really pushing as hard, you're not really. So then it kind of gives you to this point where you want to spend, and you're like, dang, I have to, and he doesn't want to. Like, you should want to spend, not feel like I'm being forced because all this other stuff. So I can understand that feeling. That's why I went free to play as well. I was like, no, I'm just gonna play the game at my pace. This is not a race, it's a marathon. So I'll play it and enjoy it along the way. So I wish he would stay and just, play and just show the community, right? If you have that many people watching, that many subs, is it really about you, or is it about the people who are watching you? So as a content creator, it's like, makes me kind of wonder, was he really creating the content for other people? but yeah, like, it's kind of sad to let him see him go. But I wish he would, you just do your dailies, just show little things, build different champions. Would have been an easy thing to do. It takes a few minutes out of your time. It doesn't take that much resources because he can never do everything end game anyways, like super fast. So, but if he's gonna take a break, hopefully it's not too long, not like a 5 months to a year, because that would suck. Most people don't, might not come back, but we'll see what happens.
So I mean, I get what he means about not needing the feeling to spend to compete at this top level, right? I mean, I have a pretty end game account, pretty well established account. And I mean, if I really, really want to, like, I think the max capability that my account can place is probably top 50, maybe 25 if I like maxed everything out, like mid-maxed every single thing. But let's not joke, right? It's not a free-to-play account. I was free-to-play for about the first 5 minutes. But the thing is if you want to compete at that level, I do think it will require that, because there is always going to be some other person, that's going to go out there and overwhelm from you. But the thing is, now I've gone to the whole, like, you know what? I'm just going to play and enjoy what I want to enjoy and do the things that I want. And I think that's the biggest thing, is, I'm going to go for plat, whatever I place. And that's it. Like, if I can min-max my account to try to get better, that's fine. But I don't think the having to spend is going to be a thing that I'm going to be doing at all to, make sure I'm at the top. It's just not something that I care for. And I mean, for him, it might be, that he wants to be the top, 5-10 players. And that's, maybe that's what it does mean for those guys. Maybe I'll try to see if I can get a couple of them on the channel and do an interview with them and figure that out. But yeah. Real quick, let me acknowledge some of the chat here. We have Nick in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Arrow, thank you for joining us. Ogre, thank you for joining us. Phil, thank you for joining us. We have Ember, thank you for joining us. And Being Useless, thank you for joining us. I always feel bad calling him Being Useless because his YouTube name and his Discord name are totally different. His Discord name is Blaze It Up. So,
And close to $1,000 a month trying to keep up. All right. Because I'm
The other thing I think Raid could do, they've never done it, is the time zone difference. Like, everybody's like, oh, I can't reach arena, blah, 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 because the resets are like 3 a.m. for them, and who's going to stay up and wait to be placed? I mean, it's horrible. It shouldn't be that hard to do, like, what do you call that, where the reset could be the same time for everybody. Like, sometimes it's probably 12 in the afternoon for somebody. They're wide awake, pushing right away, and all of a sudden somebody is asleep at 3 a.m. and they lose.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different subject. But so just to give you guys a comparison of what he's spent, he's done about $42,000 over 3.5 years at $1,000, which is what he's saying he feels that he has to spend a minimum of to be able to compete. So we're talking 42 grand, which is a lot. That's a down payment on some people's houses.
I can't retire in arena.
That's right. Kempachi can retire.
I'm not even like looking for finish in number 1 because it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. I don't have these champions. That's a really sad part.
You'd be happy to buy yourself a trailer and be in the middle of nowhere with 42,000 and have plenty of money left over.
And if you guys watch my old Sharpo videos,
Drillers are like what,
I
10
just
grand now?
had insanely bad luck.
Set.
Like ever since these two were released, I spent a lot of money. And well, not that much compared to back in, let's say, 2020 or 2021, but I still spent a lot. I probably pulled roughly 700 to 800 void shards after these two were released, and mostly during their 10x, and I just did not get them. So it
All right, so I want to stop it right there. He's complaining that, not complaining. He's mentioning that that the Taurus Marichka are, you know, basically the thing to have if you want to compete in Plat Arena. May or may not be true. I've placed in Plat without the duo, but in the higher end, maybe that is true. I mean, there are some workarounds and comps that can take them on, especially since, you know, the polymorph quote unquote rework. But you know, the spending 800 shards, and I'm gonna go guess it's been on each one because I'm pretty sure every video he's done has been like 300-400 shards to get them, and he has not gotten them yet. So I mean, it really is RNG based, right? So it could be the one shard like Jay used and got to Ross. It could be the, you know, 800 shards and you get him. I think the 10x, you know, because he was specifically targeting 10x, I think that's the problem, right? Feeling that you have to, at this point in time, because you have everything, you have to target specific champions at the 10x, and the 10x sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. What do you guys think? Like, is he, you know, is it just like complaining that he's not having him and he can't compete because of these two? Like, does he actually need the Taurus Marichka to be able to complete in Arena? I'll throw this to Jay first.
I mean, he has a pretty stacked account. It's going to make his life a lot easier, especially because it's kind of, the comp is really no-brainer. But that's the thing. Like, if there's something in the, but before, when Morton McCab was annoying, right? And people were like, "Oh, I don't have Harima," or, you know, "I don't have like a Man-Eater or Emic Trunk card to make myself unkillable. How do I get through this?" Some of the times, like, even I did when I didn't have her, I just stripped the Stone Skin and get lucky. If I didn't get lucky, I lost the fight, and I just went to the next Morton McCab and see if I got lucky there. But eventually, once you start getting the champions, yes, it does help. But you can find different strategies to combat stuff. I know they didn't really nerf, you know, the way Taras's HP is supposed to decrease. You know, it's coded so when it starts the battle, not in the battle. All they have to do is just do that, and then he's more of a balanced champion. But look, I when I didn't have Taras, I still fought them. But even though I have one, I still don't even use it that much, honestly. So you just when it comes to this type of stuff, you just have to find different strategies. That's the whole point of the game. It's not about, well, they have it, everyone has it, let me just have it too. You know, sheep mindset, you don't want to follow the herd. You know, just because someone has a 2-minute run with this comp, you can still find a faster one using something else in PvE. So it's all just about, you know, using what champions you have, what gear you have, and figuring out different strategies to combat something that's super annoying. Honestly, if I had a Ramontu, I'd just use Ramontu, you know, to a degree. But I guess, you know, people are still worried about sheep and stuff, so.
Yeah, I know Ramontu has definitely came in the meta quite a bit. I do see him, but let's go with Kempachi next.
I mean, Jay got a good point. On this game, the thing is, I love on this game, every team has counter. Like, there is no perfect team. Like, sometimes people are asking me, "Hey, bro, make me this team. Make me give me advice for the arena defense." I give them advice, then somebody saying, "This team gonna lose against them." I mean, it's totally normal, you know. Like, you cannot be perfect. Obviously, Taras Maricha is nearly the perfect. Not having them is gonna be make everything difficult for you, especially on your arena defense. I actually don't know much on account. I don't know how much plus for Sifi, maybe Harima, Drotos, Duchess, they are another strong champion, you know. I believe he have them. They can definitely help him, especially his clan. He's in the Met clan, right? So this is one of the Platinum clan. They are helping each other. He can still place a decent Platinum, but maybe this is not enough for him. Maybe like after he spent lots of the money, maybe he think himself he deserve better. But end of the day, this is RNG game. Like 10x, people was telling me, people as know me, I am one of the guy who hate the Tenix. Like, I got a Blancir on the Necret Tenix, I got a Jingwon on the Chris Tenix, I got a Konstantin on the Maricha Tenix, then I got a Sifi, Arima, and the second Kaimar on the Tenix recently. So, is that changed my opinion about the Tenix? No. I still believe 10x is very hard. I still don't know why people are opening chart on Tenix. And I always say them, guys, if you guys don't have like 300 plus shard, maybe 500 plus shard, don't expect anything on the Tenix, which is, even you open that amount of the shard, like Machan said, he said he opened like 700, 800, right? You can still not get them. Like, I have some shard pull video on my YouTube channel. It was different accounts, but we opened like over 1000 shard, engine shard. It was one of the Tranda Tenix, 0 Tranda. We never got a Tranda from over 1000 engine shard. It's normal. I mean, it's possible. That's the thing, it's possible. So I understand him. I totally understand him. Sometimes I really also get very angry to the game, you know, like whenever I'm doing like end game content like Hydra Clash and all of my accessories is 5-star. I feel like, come on man, like, you know. But again, RNG.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, obviously you want the meta champs, you want the ones that are strongest. I think these two make things significantly easier. I've been playing a lot of Live Arena, I really enjoy it. And I was able to get to Gold 2 with no Taurus, with no Georgid. I did have a Marichka at the time. But once I got there, man, I couldn't do anything. I was just bouncing back and forth between Gold 2 and Gold 1. And it wasn't until two things happened. The first was I got Tars, and that did two things for me. One, it prevents the other team of always having a freaking Tars. So at least sometimes I can at least he's not in the match if they take him, and if I take him and he gets banned, at least he's not in the match. But the other thing is, man, Sun Wukong has changed so much in Live Arena. I mean, I don't care about Helicath. Like, Helicath has totally been the meta. And this is the thing, right? Like, this is something that MacChan's probably got a +4 Helicath. He could probably run through people in these situations. Now, obviously, that doesn't help you in Plat. And frankly, man, I don't know. Plat to me is whatever. I've never been super into Plat because it's like, A, it's not at a great time for me, whatever. But B, it's just not that fun. Like, I love the live aspect. I love being able to do picks and bans. Like, I feel like that's way more interesting. And I think MacChan was probably in the top 10 of Live Arena when he was doing it. I think I remember seeing his name up there at some point, but that might even been when things were still like in silver, not even up in the gold, but whatever. I don't remember exactly. But just, you know, whatever. So my point is, you don't need those champs to necessarily compete. And like, you know, like you can't, like Jay and Kenpachi were saying, like you can you find the other champs to counter it or to work around it, whatever. And I think that's what makes it more fun. I don't know. Like, I've built and rebuilt, and you know, I'm like, well, maybe this guy would be a good counter here, or maybe this guy would work in this situation. And I find it more interesting and more fun. So, and it's not like he's never gonna get these champs. Like, it's, you know, it's the like, the more chances you get at it, like whatever, it's the rule of numbers. Like, it's gonna happen at some point. So you just got to keep trying. Like, if you quit, obviously you're not gonna get them. So, you know, I don't know. I feel him, but you know, it's the nature of the game. We've known this since the beginning. So, yeah, back and forth.
Isn't Plat Arena reset for you midnight?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the time zone. It's or, you know, if it's
I'll trade time zones.
the winter or the summer.
It's 3 a.m. my time. I'll trade. Let's go.
Yep, same here.
Oh, well, honestly, I'm up at 3 a.m., so I would take 3 a.m. I'm trying to sleep at midnight or 1.
Horde, what about you? What do you think?
I'll definitely do that trade too. So if you can get that approved by Plarium, I'll take 12 o'clock for 3. Yeah, the champions. It's always you see it a lot too. Like people are like, "Oh, I spent like $5,000, got these champions," and they just don't know how to build them. I mean, half the time I'm bouncing around in the streams because you can get a team that works for say a year straight, works perfect, and all of a sudden next update they fail 100% of the time because something got changed, something got switched around. You just have to experiment. You have to find different ideas, something that other people might not know. Like everybody for what was it, Doom Tower, Scarab King. Everybody's like, you have to use blah blah blah. I'm like, just use Skull Lord and Regen set. Every time he gets hit, his shield just goes to nothing. Then take him out. They're like, oh, we didn't know that. Now everybody's using Skull Lords and everything because they thought he was useless. I have a double Skull Lord, so I have no problem with the shields.
Yeah.
I have a double with everything.
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, Taras and Marichka as, again, somebody that I go up against them and that has, a double Taras team, which is quote unquote the meta right now. It's not the end all, right? I think if it wasn't for Polymorph in the beginning, they would not have such a huge power creep. Rotos, in my opinion, is still a well-built Rotos is still the meta for me. I mean, it's just he will destroy. He has had 3 different nerfs, and Plarium has had to nerf him so many times because he's just so overpowered. So Taras and Marichka make things easier, right? But you also need to have like a Sifi or a Duchess to pair them with him, right? The A3 from Taras needs multiple buffs to be able to hit really hard. So let's get back into this.
It was really unlucky, and I am missing so many meta champions. And this one also Harima. I pulled tons of shards. I remember I had like 60,000 gems before a Harima 10x event, and I spent all of that and did not get Harima. Alright.
So right here, he spent 60,000 gems, which I believe is, 900 gems buys you 11 shards. So we'll round it up, let's say 650 shards to get a Harima. I remember a while back, there was a 10x Kymar. There was a 10x 2x Kymar, right? Which I think he's going to talk about this later on. And there was a French streamer that did a subathon and pulled, I think it was like 3,000 or maybe more than that because he had some ridiculous amount of points. And he only pulled, I think it was like 5 or 6 out of like thousands of shards. That's kind of insane, right? Again, I mean, the 10x, I think that just needs to be reworked. And it just needs to be fixed, in my opinion, because it just doesn't work, right? But as long as people keep spending on it, they're going to keep doing it, right?
And I remember, like, if we have to go back a little bit further, last year, I believe there was a 2x Ancient Shard event coinciding with 10x Kymar. So basically, Kymar 20x event brings Kymar. I pulled 1,500 Ancient Shards.
Okay, so he actually pulled 10k, and it was IZK. So
For 20x Kymar, and I did not get a single copy. So I don't know what's going on with my account, to be honest. And like starting this year, I just feel like keep spending and always get nothing good. It's kind of waste of money. Alright.
I'm gonna stop it right there. Keep spending in this game, he feels is a waste of money. I want your views on this. Kenpachi, what do you think?
I mean, I keep spending my time and get nothing. It's not up like you are spending. I'm also spending my time, like it's all of us. We are usually getting nothing. Like, what is the last time you guys get good speed gear from the Dragon? I seriously don't understand people still spending crazy amount of the energy on the 3x speed gear, blah blah gear. Like, it makes me like. By the way, they already have like insane amount of the gear on their account. Like we are talking about like not early game account, you know, or the mid game. We are talking about end game account. They still spending. Bro, what you gonna do? Like you already probably have like quad loss of triple speed. I just doing my dailies. I just using my daily energy. Like it is like what 600, 700, and end of the day I'm getting nothing. It's totally normal the amount of the energy I spend it, but I don't think. Let's say I spent 5,000 energy. Okay, it's super high for me. And let's say I'm gonna get a couple of the decent speed substat from the dragon, for example. You need to roll them, and good luck. I mean, are you gonna get a triple roll, quad roll? You are not. I mean, the chances on this game is super low. I keep saying that there is no point of the farming gear on the dungeon on the end game. Forge is 100% better than that. 10x is very low chance. There is no point for the opening chart on the 10x. Unless you believe 10x chance is high. I mean, 10x chances theoretically is higher than normal chance, but there is too many legendary champions in this game. And I always say that we need a more balanced update. Whenever you put something like, let's say Taras Marja, make more Taras in the game. Make more Marichi in the game. Make more Harima in the game. So you won't get disappointed. Why we are still looking for one couple of specific champion? Why they are never changing?
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with Jay next.
So with spending in the game, it's like if you're free to play, you have to spend more time, right? A lot of end game players are not going to sit there probably playing 12, 15 hours a day. They already have really good gear. Everything's on full auto. They just want to optimize and maximize. So Artifact Ascension basically did a great equalization, right? It allowed people who wanted to come in and spend money in the game get to this end game content that other these end game players now have to progress, like Sandevil and Shogun. Someone could get lucky, do like a few hundred Sandevil, and could get the exact same thing that another contractor or another player who spends 2,000 energy to get the exact same thing. So it's all RNG, even the gear, right? I have seen this personally, right? People who have come in within the game 6 months, 7, 8 months, and they're already at end game, and they have a Taras Marishka, and they have pretty insane gear that's ascended. That makes some of tier 3 content creators' gear look like pretty meh. So when it comes to spending in raid, like you should only spend if you want. Like I always say, it's raid is like the you know, I treat it as like the management kind of like analogy, right? You're a manager. You manage all these different like workers, you know, champions, and you make them try to like do their best, whatever they can do, right? Either being faction wars or arena. You just shouldn't have to keep spending to play the game. Like it's a game. Enjoy the game for what it is. Otherwise, you're becoming like a cow, and you're letting Plarium milk you. Like no one wants to be milked, right? And no one likes imps. You know, imps usually are like, nowadays people are not looking down on them, right? Like imps, like giving people a lot of, you know, females money and stuff like that. So it's frowned upon. So I that's another reason why I was paying money to do content. I'm like, that makes no sense. I'll just wait till I have enough books or just enough shards, and eventually I'll get what I want. And I have. You know, it just, that's how it is. I mean, just in the past 3 weeks, I've pulled more Legos than I've pulled in 2 months. I don't know, just getting super lucky. 12 shards, double Legos here. Three sacreds here, boom, another 3. Like, I was like, what is going on? It's just, that's just the luck how the game is. Like, sometimes you get what you want, sometimes you don't. But you got to use what you have. It's like real life. None of us are all born the same. So use what you have to your best potential. You know, you shouldn't have to spend. If you feel like you have to spend in raid, you're playing the wrong game. Spend if you want to, because you want to support the development or the game, or just want to get something special. But you shouldn't have to, because FOMO is a real thing in this game. They want there's always going to be the next thing, right? That you're going to want to get, and they're going to get you on that, right? Now Mythical Champions is that new thing where people are like, no, we're not going to do it. First they had us on Taras Marishka, now they have the Mythicals. You know, I just always say, just wait. You know, wait till more things come, and eventually you'll get something. You might not get what you want, but you might get something new, and that new thing might be the thing that you actually wanted. You just gotta change the perspective.
Okay. All right. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, 10x should have definitely been adjusted as they've added more champs. I mean, 10x is back in the day. Like, I even like a year ago, 10x Voids was almost like a 20% chance of getting it. But they've been pounding the voids. Now it's like what, an 8% chance to get or something. So they certainly should have adjusted. Because I remember 10x back in the day, everyone's like, "Damn, you trying to get this champ? Because you probably got a good shot at getting him." You know, there was only, you know, there were what I don't know the numbers, maybe 50 non-voids and like 10 or 15 voids, at the beginning. So yeah, it's way like 10x is our joke now. 10x for non-void is like I think 6% chance of pulling. And that's if you hit on a 6% chance on the sacred or a 0.5% chance because it's typically not during the 2x events. So I'd never recommend anyone pulling on a 10x, honestly, unless you're like super end game and want someone very specific. And that's just, unfortunately, that's especially now, that's just the best odds you're gonna have to get them. And I mean, I'm not gonna say don't do it because that's what I'm doing. I've been holding out for Taurus, finally got him. Now I'll be holding out for Georgia unless like something else really comes along. But and just hope you get lucky on it.
Yeah. Horde, what about you?
Spending, I definitely say, like, if you're worried about how much something costs, probably don't do it. But if you can afford it and you're actually still having fun doing it, then I would recommend just, like, all I do is get energy packs completely. Like, I don't care about shards or anything, because obviously, if you have two man eaters, you're basically getting shards for free. And yeah, I enjoy doing the farming still, and just the clan boss is great. One click, you're done now. You don't have to wait 30 minutes, 40 minutes just to get the millions and millions. If you want to spend, spend. Just make sure that, it's something that you can do, not something that you have to do. When it becomes work, then that's when it's no more fun, pretty much.
Right. So I mean, my feelings on this is playing raid should be more for enjoyment, right? It's not to, stress yourself out or anything. So if you are spending in the game, it should be for you to enjoy it. If you're enjoying it, then it's not a waste. Whether it's your time, whether it's money, you know, but if you're spending money to be able to compete and not get anywhere, then I could see, yeah, there's an argument for that it is a waste, right? I feel like that is going to be, one of the big things to determine is, are you playing the game to enjoy it, or are you playing the game to try to compete? Because if you think you have a big enough wallet, there's some Saudi prince out there that's probably playing this as well and has an even bigger wallet, right? So
Maybe it's the same for all gacha game. To be honest, I don't play that much gacha game. Mostly, I am a PC gamer. But back in the days, I was really into this game because of the graphic and the gacha mechanic. To be honest, it's kind of like a gambling feeling, right? The dopamine, and you can outwell people, stuff like that. You can be better at the.
I'm going to stop it right there. Dopamine. Plarium does it awesome. For anybody that doesn't know, Plarium is owned by Aristocrat, who are slot machine manufacturers. And the number one thing that Plarium does great is hooking you on that dopamine. I don't think any one of us here will say otherwise. They are masters at getting you for the FOMO, and they're masters of dopamine. You pull that shard, you get so excited, you look at it. I mean, every content creator throws their arms up, gets excited when they see gold. You get that 5-10 second dopamine, and then you look at the champion, and then half the time you're like, oh, they're a dupe. Oh, it's a Skolor Vargal back before he was buffed. So I think he's right on that. Like, dopamine is one of the things that gets you in this game, right? And if you have an addiction with that, it makes it very hard. That's why casinos always win.
People, because you have more money, you spend more money. So it's probably a fake feeling, to be honest. Because at the end of the day, it's a game, right? But you can still get some sort of.
Exactly. The dopamine you get from this, it is a fake feeling. At the end of the day, this is just a game for us, right? We are just playing this to enjoy it, or that's what you should do, right? In the end. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when you were younger, you spent $40, $50 buying a PlayStation game, and you played it for hours upon hours upon hours and enjoyed it. And, you know, it was just that's what it was for. It was just a game to have some time and have some fun, right? So,
Satisfaction in this game for spending money. But at the end of the day, it's a game. Alright? You're still gonna focus on real life. That's how I feel. Yeah, that's just the biggest reason why I kind of don't want to play this game for now. Like, if I don't spend money into it, I fall behind. Alright?
if he doesn't spend money into it, he falls behind. Is that true? What do you guys think? Jay, let's start with you.
If he's talking about like reaching top 100, yeah. But how are you gonna fall behind? You're one of the highest powered accounts of the in the game. Like, I don't know. I don't. You're only gonna fall behind if you put less time into it. Like he just does dailies, maybe just like does his quick things and then walk away. Of course, yeah. Even I have gone far away. You know, like where some weeks I don't even play that much raid, where I'm busy doing other stuff, right? But I'm still keeping up with it. If they do a fragment fusion or a fragment summon or fragment fusion summons, I just keep up with it and try to enjoy it and try to progress slowly because I'm still, you know, every single time I feel I'm there at the end, there's always a new end game. Like with the Great Void's gonna come out soon. So, but yeah, I don't think you have to. Now on an account like his, he has such a. It's like if I was in real estate and I put like 100,000. You already have investments. You have a portfolio. You can go and look at different markets and do different things. He has all these champions, all this gear. Like you can actually do different things. It's just like I said once again. When you're at a certain level, when you get pushed down, people need to be there again. And if they're not there, it's like, oh no. You like when you tell someone who's, I'll give you another example, right? That's kind of hard as well. If you're playing League and you're like Grandmaster, like Master, but then next season you go in and you're only a diamond or you're hard stuck, right? You can't get out. Is that based on you, like your team, or is that based on yourself? You know, so like that's how I kind of see raid. Like if there's always a bottleneck, you have to figure out, is there something I could be doing something different? You know, for him, I wish I had his account. I would just play it like a side account and just like show off different things. You know, like I said, most of the people are not in his position. He's a content creator. So you think he would create content for the people who maybe want to get there, like people who can't even get into plat, help people get in there, help people their tag team, people still stuck on silver 2, 3, and 4, can't even get to gold. You know what I mean? Like help people get there. I'm telling you, it's gonna help. Someone might come in your Discord and be like, "Hey, MacChan, I saw this on your main account. Why don't you use this guy in arena?" And the next thing you know, boom, he could be using that. That could be the new meta. But you'll never get there if you don't ever try it. So that's the only sad thing about this, is that sometimes people just follow trends instead of coming up with unique strategies. So.
Horde, what about you? What do you think?
Definitely, you're gonna fall behind. I mean, just like we were talking about the resets and everything. If you get into platinum and you check next hour, you're gonna be out of platinum and halfway back down to gold 4. I mean, you can't stop. You're forced to keep going, and if you want to place, you have to set an alarm clock and just look at the final hour and just keep on hitting before the reset. I mean, regardless of the player power, obviously, there's going to be somebody that it used to be a thing back in the day too. Like people would boost other people so they can get higher points. It's going to happen, and it still does happen.
Yeah, can we talk about that, by the way? He has
Yeah.
he has immunity. You're in mad. Like a lot of these players, like myself, I can't go into arena and be like, "Don't attack me, people, because I'm in your clan." I can't do that. I'm gonna get attacked from everybody. Even my own viewers attack me. So like, you have sort of like a clan immunity. Most people don't have that. You're not SP. You're not a Gods and Legends. You're in mad. So technically, you're one of the top clans. So you have immunity from all your own people who are probably equal or even higher to you in plat. Like, so you have that protection. We're not even talking about that. Like, that's another way you can still stay in plat. But he's like, oh nah, man. I have probably clanmates that are probably better than me. Can't keep spending, man. I can't keep doing this. So
Yeah. Kempachi, what about you?
I mean, Jay pretty much said everything. I 100% agree with him. He's gonna fall behind if he stop spending on the platinum money. Like, there is nothing in the game can I mean, like, let's say they are gonna release a new content tomorrow, okay? Just tomorrow. He can beat all of us. I mean, not tomorrow. Let's say like 6 months later, he can still beat all of us. Even he stop spending today, you know. It's only for Platinum. I wish instead of the quitting the game, this game is not about the PvP content. I wish it's said like, hey guys, I take a break to the arena a little bit, Platinum. I'm gonna make a more content about like rest of the game. You know, this game is like more than arena. You know, like, but I feel like there is a little bit ego. This is the real reason why people are waking up middle of the midnight or maybe middle of the morning. You know, very early morning. It's just ego. Nobody care about the platinum reward, which is we are gonna talk about that very soon. But that's just the ego, you know, like, oh, Machan is not top 100 anymore, you know, oh, people gonna start talking about it, and I think he see that, you know, and it's just ego. To be honest, it's just make me sad.
Yeah. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, obviously, if they continue kind of in the trend that they've been going with the newer champs really being super strong and meta, and now obviously the mythical champs, which probably seems to have sparked him taking the break. You're gonna fall behind because these champs are doing real well, you know. But his account, as you guys have all stated, his account is ridiculous. And I mean, would he really fall behind? Probably not. Like if he had someone piloting his account, I'm sure they wouldn't really fall off too much because it is a huge account. And champions are great, man. But the difficult thing to get in this game, and I'm sure he's got tons of it, especially if his player power is as big as it is getting the right gear. I mean, it's so hard to get multiple sets of Savage, Lethal that are gonna work for people, and that account has it. So I don't really feel like because of that, I don't think he really should fall off that much. Obviously, you know, he said he's not going to be able to make top 10. Man, who makes top 10? It's some of those accounts are absolutely absurd. And his account, frankly, isn't that. I mean, he's 34 mil. There's guys up there in the 60s, 70s, 80s. So, like, it's, I don't know, man. You can't compete with those guys. I mean, they got, how do you have that much money? They've just been blowing it. So, you can't compete with those guys, in my opinion, unless you just got millions. You just got money to burn.
So, I mean, there could be a case made that if in Platinum Arena, if he doesn't spend to try to get the next meta champion, he could fall off and not be in the top 10, 15. I don't buy the excuse of not being able to place in Plat, period. I think this is more for the, 1% of the 1% out there, right? As for everything else in the game, yeah, no, there's no content that Plarium is going to put out that this account can't take on, right? 100%. Like, it's not. I've seen the account. I've gone up against it in arena. I mean, his +4 Leorias smacked through my Duchess. That was, 120k HP, bolster set, 5k defense, and like he just came up and said, "See ya." So, the account does have some crazy stuff in it, but yeah, I think again when it's like the 1% of the 1%, that's when it matters. But in general purposes, to be able to place in plat, I don't think that that's going to matter.
Let's say if I go completely free to play for 2 to 3 months, I can probably go to arena and finish at like top 50. And if I don't spend for another 3 months, I can probably be top 100. I just keep.
Okay, so right there, if he doesn't spend for 3 to 6 months, he feels that he still will not be able to place in the top 25 as he does now, that he'll be placing in like top 50, possibly top 100. I don't really buy that. Again, I think a lot of it has to do where if you maybe think outside the box and look at what the meta is, because the meta shifts time to time to time. I mean, it's been a little stagnant since the duos came out, but I think that does change, right? Before I go too far, let me just acknowledge some of the chat here. Soul Sane, welcome to the chat, to the stream. Hint, welcome to the stream. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody else. I think that was it. All right.
Falling behind. So that's something I just don't want to do. I don't want my money to be spent in somewhere that doesn't give me a guaranteed return. Like if they just put a price tag on these two champions, let's say $100. Sorry, let's say $1,000 for one champion. I would do it. All right.
All right. So here's where I think he's starting to work for Plarium. Putting a price tag on a particular champion and saying that if they put a price tag on Taras and Marichka for $1,000, he would do it. I think that would be bad for the game, right? 100%. I don't think it would be, we wouldn't enjoy it enough, because then it would make a huge divide between the whales and everybody else. I mean, Kenpachi is a very good example of how you can still be free to play, even though it's only $14 free to play, but still be able to compete in Plat Arena, right? Does it require some particular champions to go up against the top 1%? Yes. But, I don't know. What do you guys think? If there was a price tag on one of these champions or both of these champions that said $1,000, you can get them, is that something that, attracts you? Would it consider you doing, the credit card swipe? I'll throw this to Jay first.
Since I already have a Taras, so basically the question would be, would I spend 1,000 for Marichka so I could have the duo? I mean, I've honestly spent more to get less. Marichka and they are a powerful combo. Don't get me wrong. Like Cupid's Venus is powerful. Back then, Zavia and Bellinor, people were using that as well. But there's different combos. But this is one of the best duos, right? Not because not only because they're void, but they're skill kits, of course. Would I spend 1,000? I mean, I've spent trying to get Siffy. Probably spent like $500-$600 just on voids alone trying to get her. So spending an extra 500 to guarantee get something instead of something random like a third arbiter would be pretty good. I'd probably do it. I probably would. I would hate doing it, but see, the player has to want. I'm not gonna do it because of FOMO. I'm not gonna do it because I want the Marichka. I want her if she happens to get her, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to spend voids anymore. I'm not doing that to see if I could get another Siffy or Marichka. If it happens, it happens. It's kind of like what happened with Harima. Pulled one Sacred during a 10x Harima, and I got her, which is crazy because it's 6% no mercy and get the 10x on top of it was insane. But yeah, it's the same thing happened with Taras as well. Pulled like 3 voids and boom, got Taras randomly with no mercy, nothing. I was like, wow. So sometimes you just get RNG'd, But yeah, I probably would, because I do support the whole Ukrainian thing, what happened with the war and everything. But it's like, I do have a Taras. I would just like to use them together, not even for PvP. Like I would like to make a full auto Doom Tower with him, right? That'd be pretty nuts. Much faster my teams would be. I could probably come up with something unique for Sand Devil. Other areas in the game like Dragon, I already use him in Dragon Hard 10, right? Now I got a Stultus. I'm gonna use that, but I was using him to get me through Hard 10. So I probably would do it because it's gonna be a big jump on my account. But I have to think about it because I don't want to give player more money because there might be another champion that'll do the exact same thing to. What if they just start doing that to mythicals? Am I gonna fall for that trap too? So it's like I have to have a deep talk with myself. But if it was like a one-time thing, because they FOMO stuff, hey, you can only do this once, we're not doing this ever again. You're like, oh, I'd probably be a little tempted to do it. I'm gonna be honest. So
Okay. Just a quick question for you, Jay. Did you pull your Stultus this weekend?
No, it was the week before that.
Okay, so the 10x is still not real for you.
No, it's honestly the 10x is like a 25% chance. I do get 10x champions, but it's a hit or miss. It should be 20 or 30x in my opinion, because we have more champions now.
Yeah. Gestal, what about you? What do you think?
I don't know. It sounds like a horrible idea, honestly. That would become the epitome of pay to win. I think one game I played a lot, which was supposed to be the WoW killer, was a game called Rift, and the game was pretty strong up until they allowed you to start spending money to buy basically the sets that you would earn in raids, and that game just nosedive. Everyone just stopped playing. And I would equate that to basically this, because it hasn't always been that way. So people have pumped in. People like Mac Chan would probably I would feel like they'd almost get mad at something like this more than be positive about it because they've pumped in so much money trying to get these champs earlier. Um, and B, it's I don't know, man. I don't like the idea. Uh, would I spend $1,000 on a champ? I mean, at this point, no way. But I have the champs in question, so I guess it's easier to say no.
Okay. Okay. Horde, what about you? Would it entice you? Do you think that would be a good idea for them to be able to, put a price tag on these champions or any champion and say for this much you can buy them?
I would say no. I mean, basically, other companies that do it, like EA Sports, Madden, you buy packs, try to get the best characters, beat everybody. You don't really need anything else but a credit card by then. They might as well just team up with EA. I mean, they're going to start selling things like that.
Okay. Kenpachi, is there any way that they would tempt you from going from $14 free to play to, $1,000 free to play if the duo or any other particular champion you want?
I mean, let's say I have unlimited money, okay? Here's the thing. This will kill the game, to be honest. Like, even I have money, even I can afford them. This is not going to be gacha game anymore. It's just going to be directly the pay-to-win game. I have an idea for this merchant idea. People who buy this champion automatically going to be transferred to the whale server. All of them going to be there. And what they are going to do then? Everybody have the same champion. So, what's going to happen? Everybody have the same champion, like literally duplicate everywhere. So what he's going to say after that? Oh man, they are going to release another champion like price tag with the $1,000 for the mythical champion. So everybody going to have them again. People much on level are spending like him. Like, they are not F2P people or the low spenders. If they are going to do that, he's going to see them. Like, nothing going to be changed on his side, And what's going to happen next? Let's say they did a $1,000 for the Taras. Then they are going to make like 6-star guarantee quad speed substat speed gear. Are they going to sell that for $500? 6-star guarantee soulstone. Is that what's next? Like, this terrible idea. Like, the scary and the terrible idea.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. I don't think it would drive a huge pay to win wall between everybody. And Kenpachi just put the nail out on the coffin. Is if he buys it, what's stopping the rest of the 1% from buying it? And then, it's just who's got the bigger wallet at that point in time. I'm going to take a second here to acknowledge the chat and answer a question for Time Twin. Time Twin asking for a friend, why on a weak hit can Wukong sheep someone? I asked the same question in content creator chat, and Jay will back me up on this. And I thought myself that if it can't be blocked or anything, but apparently there is a check. So it goes weak hit first, right? Accuracy, and then it's if it can be resisted or not. So weak hits matter the most, right? Let's acknowledge some of the chat. We got Kimbo in the chat. Time Twin in the chat, Mr. Mo in the chat. So let's get on to the next part of
I'll
this.
literally do it, but I just don't want to spend my money gambling anymore. I'm kind of tired of it, and I don't plan on playing any other gacha game for now. I'm open to it, to be honest, but probably taking a break from gacha game for now. And the second reason is
we get an ad.
there's just not much new content, and all the content being released, I just don't feel like I enjoy it that much. 3v3 arena garbage, classic arena. Why is reset?
All right, so I think that's most of the part right there. But this last part is there's not a lot of content. He says there's not a lot of new content. There's nothing out there that interests him, right? I don't I don't share the same feeling. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think, but I think we're at the point where we have a lot of stuff to do in game. We have enough content. We sometimes do find ourselves complaining that we don't have the time and that there's too much content. I think it becomes on the individual, or at least my opinion is it becomes on the individual to pick what content you want to do with what time you have available. But I'm going to throw this question to Kempachi first. Do you think he's right? Do you think there's just no new content out for us?
I mean, we play in the game. I personally can say myself a very long time, close to 4 years. We know the game like terrible. I mean, we was back in the game, content. Back in that day, they promised us they are gonna release a Doom Tower in late 2019, I think. But then Corona happened, and we got the Doom Tower like what, mid of the, maybe end of the 2020, something like that.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think it was
almost
like
1 year
November.
delay. And after that, like Raid, just giving us insane amount of the content on these days. We got the Iron Team recently, Sun Devil, Phantom Shogun. The bad thing about them, all of them costing energy, and the energy still staying the same. It's really bad. They said they are gonna release a new PvE content on the latest Raid Biggest. I totally disagree. I also don't like he said Taktimaran is garbage. Taktimaran is the one of the content I really enjoy because it's force you to make different comps. Unless you have like 8 Taras Maricha, you can put them all of your team, I guess. But it's forcing you. On the Platinum, you are making one defense, and you have like couple of the team alternative for the each teams, and that's all. Again, it's all about the ego. Pushing Platinum is all about the ego. It's life is becoming ego. About if we talking about the reward from Taktim Arena, I mean Platinum reward also garbage. Like I don't think he's pushing Platinum for the reward. Platinum chest reward. Nobody doing that. Taktim Arena for me is the one of the biggest challenge. Same for the live arena. I lose, sometimes I get angry, it's totally normal. But end of the day, I'm having fun. Like I'm not doing that, oh I have to do it, I have to do it. I'm just having fun. I'm pushing Platinum on the work actually. I'm pushing on my phone. It's not fun, but I want to do it. I want to test myself against the strong people. That's the thing. And I definitely disagree with him.
Okay. All right. Let's go with Gestal next. What do you think?
Well, I don't. Yeah, there's definitely not a lack of content. Now, if there's a lack of content that he's not having fun with, that's a completely different situation. I mean, if you're not having fun with a game, you definitely shouldn't play it because you're not having this is your entertainment. This is what you're doing with your spare time, your free time. I don't know if this was really work for him or just kind of a hobby. The whole CC thing, I don't know him personally, but to me, I think it was more of a fun. I think he was doing it more for fun, and if he's not having fun, man, don't do it. Like I don't know. I'm not gonna try and convince someone one way or another. This is supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, don't do it. To me, I don't agree with that. I'm having more fun now than I think I've ever had in the game. There is a lot to do. There's a lot of different comps to work on. So I don't know, man. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I'm not in the same boat as him, but everyone to each their own. To each their own.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
Yeah, I don't agree. I mean, that's why I always said, like, I've told this before to other people, like don't get me wrong, like PvP is an important part of this game, right? We do go to the PvE side to get the gear, to get, the ascensions and stuff like that. And then people go, well, where am I supposed to use it if I already got all PvE fully done? Gotta go to PvP. True. But if you know that there's going to be people who are spending lots of money, that's where that's like me, like purposely like getting all this money and then I invest into like certain type of crypto or do something else that where I know it's going to be a scam or something. I'm the one at fault because I knew clearly what I'm getting myself into, like, and then getting mad that you got into it. Like, what, you have to take accountability. So, I truly don't think he there's a lot of content, and there's more content coming. We have another Hydra head. We have the Great Void coming. New mythical champions. What if he's one of the few accounts that pulls a 6-star mythical soulstone? Like he gets an actual champion for that champion, and then pulls that champion. Then he might be the only person who has that. You never know what's going to happen on your account if you don't see it through. Trust me, I didn't have royal guards for 3 years, and then I pulled 3. For like literally boom boom boom, it just like one after another. Like every few months I would pull another royal guard. I was like, well, they're just coming out of nowhere now. Like I didn't have any. All I had was husks, and I only have 1 gold heart. And that's how it was. And then I get tons of husks, tons of royal guards, and tons of cold hearts. I don't need them all anymore, right? But that's just how life is. You just got to see it through, and see. You never know what's going to happen to your account. I feel he just feels like he's just not blessed for how much money he's put in, and the company's not giving him anything other than his content creator rewards. So he's just like, man, I'm never gonna be able to win because I don't have the great stuff like everybody else. I'm like, if that's the case, I don't say someone should do this, but he could have gotten what he really wanted if he invested his money and actually saved it and did something else and put into Plarium and go somewhere else. He probably could have got something of that, retrospect, but we're not going to talk about that here. But yeah, he could have done that. That's what I would have done if I had 10-20k. I'm just going to be like, hey man, is anyone out there who has yeah, exactly. Instead of hoping for the best, and then what does he do? Oh, complain, cry, oh, I didn't get the Taurus. I'm like, yeah, but you got a plus 40 Taurus. How many people can say that? Like come on. Yeah. But yeah, like honestly, I think it's just not true. I just think he just wants to be at the top, and he knows that over time, as time goes on, with new blessings, people might get better blessings than him. People might get better mythicals. He might never get one. He's looking at the reality of like, dang, I got to spend a lot to keep up. I want to be a top dog. I want to be respected at that level. Like, oh, it's MacChan, which I totally understand. Like, because he's been up there for a while. I mean, look, he has 9 trophies. Like, that's pretty crazy. But overall, no, there's always going to be new content, and I think he should have stuck through and shown, like, look at me. This is an account that's not spending. He could have went free to play. A lot of people are going free to play now. And he could have been like, this is what I've stopped spending for a player. This is my account. Let's see how I can, show his progress, if he can actually stay top 100, or if he goes down. Like, he could have done that. And then if it really does get really bad, he's like top 300, top 400. He's like, you know what? This is when I got to stop. And then he could have stopped, right? But, I mean, whatever. At the end of the day, I think it's just he wants to gain something out of it. But if he's not having fun with Raid, you definitely shouldn't spend your time or money if you're not really having fun with it. So he had to leave.
Okay. Horde, what about you?
There's plenty of content. I think though he's probably saying there's not enough content for him to progress any further, because in order for him to progress anywhere, he's probably thinking about, like, he has to be on top of everything and constantly spending. And at that point, it's just not fun anymore. It's just work at that point. And who the hell wants to work? That's not fun. If you're not having fun at what you used to love to do, it becomes more of a job than it is something that used to give you enjoyment. I mean, there's plenty of, like, everybody's like, oh, the Hydra head's not coming. I'm like, they literally said like the Thunder head or whatever the hell it's coming, and there's plenty of people that say it's not, and then the Void's coming, and hopefully it's going to be before next year. I mean, they've been doing good at pumping out content more regularly than when they used to say stuff was coming out, like 2019, and then it was like, well, 2022 it should be out. You had to wait forever, but now it's more consistent. There's always something more to do. You don't have to be stuck in one area. Like, there's consistency is one thing, but just have fun. Do different things. If you don't want to do something, take a break, play another game, come back in 2 months, and there'll be a bunch of new stuff probably. It's not like the end of the world. Your account's not going to go anywhere just because you stop playing. It's not like, oh, you haven't been active for 30 days. We had to delete this account. Like, that would suck if they started doing that.
Yeah. I got to say, so for the last probably 2.5 months, I have taken over a viewer's account, Steven's account, and I've just been doing a lot of stuff on it. And I can't lie, I'm enjoying that a lot more than I am my account, because it gives me the opportunity to test other things out, try other things out. Like, it still challenges me. Like, again, with my account, I mean, am I missing some meta champions? Probably. I don't have a Harima. Is there stuff that I can't do? Absolutely not. I can clear every content in the game. So I can feel how, having the pay to win element being a spender is making it so, it feels like you don't have content. But I don't think that that's true. I think, if you're, even a low spend, free to play, there's plenty of content for those because they still have the challenge. But when you're just swiping your credit card, there is no challenge, right? So, Citizen Z, welcome to the stream. Now, we are going to talk about the spicy subject that has been this week. So, if you guys have been enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button on the stream and let's get some more people in here. Now, this week, we all have had an interesting beginning of the week, right? For me, it was actually quite a big week, right? For anybody who hadn't heard, I made it into the official content creator program for Raid. At the same time, we had these puppies come in. We had Primal Shards and Primal Quartz, right? And man, have they caused a lot of controversy. There's players that are saying, no, it's perfectly fine. I don't care. It's not a problem. There's other players that are saying, well, what the hell? This is ridiculous. This is bull. So let me ask you guys, are you pro Prism the way it was put out, or are you against it where, it was introduced completely horribly and Plarium should go back to the board and restructure this? Let's start this off with Kempachi first.
I mean, like I said before, I play in different gacha games. One of them is the Mobile Legends Adventure. I only doing daily stuff. They're not like spending hours like on the raid. They also got a recently. So there is a SSR champion. They're basically legendary, and they made just really say you are champion. Limited time. So like 1 week, and you got them. By the way, on this game, you need to get multiple of them because this game has like you need to make your champion +5. Then you have to make like 1 star, then 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, then red star, 1 star. The empower on this game is going like a crazy. There is no limit. They are selling skins. Skin give you bonus stat. Like. I see worse than that. Raid compared to this kind of games, which is most of the gacha game is very, very pay to win. Raid is doing very balanced job so far. Yeah, the empower system is make the gap between the F2Ps, low spender, and the whales. It's increased the gap, but I don't think mythical champion gonna be increased that much because there is already broken champion in the game, way broken than the mythical. Like Taras Merchant, we keep talking about them since the starting of the stream. Mythical champion special DPS, their multiplier looks joke to me. We talk about them before. They said their base stat gonna be higher than legendary champion. I really don't see that massive big highs. If you guys check their base stat, they are not that high. To be honest, they are not that like make a difference high for me. I believe support champion gonna be more annoying than the DPS champion. And like I said before, I prefer my enemy as a mythical champion than the Taras Maricha. And the way they put them on the game, the percent 0.5%, we was thinking it's gonna be lower than that. I'm okay with the 0.5%. Yes, getting them is not gonna be hard, but guys, they are mythical champion. I mean, some people said, oh, platinum only. First of all, you are not gonna be guaranteed to get the PRIMAL shard from the platinum. Second of all, like what? You're supposed to get them from gold 3 chest. It's not realistic, guys. They are mythical champion. It's gonna be hard to get them. As a free to play, I'm saying them. It's not that terrible. Mercy is very high to 300 is an absurd number. But I am not super happy, not super sad. I'm just natural. I'm just
Status
natural.
quo.
Yeah.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with Kempachi. I don't think this is dire dooming out that it's gonna kill Raid or it's gonna be some sort of mass exodus because of it. I'm not super thrilled about it because it's probably gonna be a long time before you even get a mythical champ. But I think it's cool. I don't know. Add new stuff, add new champs. I don't think the champs are crazy strong. I think they're interesting, and I'm sure there'll be more that come out that potentially will get to that point. Um, but I would say the only thing I don't necessarily really don't like is the whole quartz option. I think if they're gonna give out shards, just give them out, man. Don't give out the quartz. It's just gonna be another thing, another annoying thing that you have to kind of keep an eye on or look for in events to try to stack these. So I think honestly, I think they could totally just delete that bottom bar and just be like, all right, you know what? We're not gonna do the quartz. We decided we're gonna be We'll put 3 in a top chest of Hydra Clash, or whatever it works out to be. So I would say that's really the only thing that just I don't really like about the whole new primal shards.
Okay. Horde, what about you?
I don't think it's as bad as everybody thought it was gonna be per se. It's not gotta have it. It's just mainly whatever I look at it as. It's gonna be more points for summon rushes, and it's not making it impossible like they do with some sacred shard events. Obviously the soul stones is 1500, and it's that's still pretty high per sacred shard. I mean, the 6,000 point event, for a primal shard, it's it could have been worse. They could have put quartz instead of the full shards. We could have been dealing with those instead. But they're actually being more lenient, I think, giving out the primals like they have been. They're making it more accessible. So I'd say it's fine to me. I mean, it's not if you get a mythical champion, game over. I mean, you still have to get the books, and right now the only way to get them is buy them. I mean, it's not like you get a champion that's, if they were to do you pull a mythical and then you get a mythical book with it, that wouldn't be a thing because they want to make money.
Yeah. Jay, what about you?
I look at it this way: they probably were trying to figure out a way to not dilute, the top people in the community always, content creators or top players always saying stop diluting the pool. So they were like, well, how can we do that and also, create something that where people want to spend, right? But then of course, the community gets all riled up and gets crazy, oh my gosh, But overall, they're not broken. I said I knew they weren't going to be because the moment I said if they make them broken, then it's going to break the game. Because then the voids are useless. Primals, as we saw, they're not going to be void. So far, thankfully, there's no void primals. The moment that happens, that's going to be the most scariest part. That's going to be as scary as when Faction Guardians and Empowerment came into Raid. We lost a lot of content creators during that time as well. Because people thought, oh, Empowerment, it's going to be impossible. I'm going to have to spend tons and tons and tons of money. Not true. I have 3 Cupiduses now. I have 3 Rhodoses, and I'm not spending on shards at all. I'm just playing and just getting them. And Primal Shards is another way for you to get more dupes so you can fill out your Faction Guardians and get your champions empowered. You might some, I don't know, random person out there, viewer, you might have that one champion you get, oh my gosh, I got 4 of now. I can finally make a +4 and I'm free to play. Well, there you go. You've been saving your ancient sacreds and now your Primal Shards for the right moments and getting yourself the champion. Now might not be the champion you're looking for, and you might not get the primal champion that you want or at all, and you just get Legos and epics. But hey, I look at it a different way. People don't have geos. People still don't have geos in 2023, right? People who are mid-game, late game, hey, now you have a higher chance of getting that epic that you're looking for your faction wars.
I got 3 months ago, by the way, my first one.
Oh, you finally got
okay. Then I got 2 of them in less than 1 month.
see how the game is? It's so crazy. You can literally go zero, getting nothing, and then all of a sudden, I just finally got a Skull Lord of our goal. I finally got a Mortar McCab. Never had one, but still don't have that Brogni. But who knows? I think that doesn't exist, but we'll see one day. But yeah, I think it's actually a pretty good thing. I just don't like the implementation. How they kind of backtracked and were like, oh, we're gonna make a 2x or kind of, to make you guys a little, oh, it's not that bad. We're not just throwing it out there. We're gonna give you some in your daily logins and stuff like that. They should just prepared more time. I think they're getting ready for their fiscal year, trying to maybe revs down, or they're trying to figure out a way for more people to spend. But you can't spit on people. Like if you're gonna make a spend or make certain people want to, entice buy one or two things, you got to be lenient with it. It's kind of like what happened with skins. They threw it out at 50. No, there's some crazy people who did that who spent, but once they dropped it to 15, 20, to $10, they got someone like me to go, hey, I'm willing to do that. If I'm willing to do that for League of Legends, I'm willing to do that for Raid as well. So I was able to spend, and I bought myself skin. But they gotta make some sense. You can't put these primal shards on such a high horse. They just came out. Like they always value things crazy. It's like no, it's not physical. It's not real. Like give us more reason that they're that valuable. So I think they should just reduce the prices of certain packs. Kind of slow it down, give us more ways to get it, and eventually, yeah, everything will kind of balance out and everything will be nice again.
Yeah, for myself, I mean, the way it was put out, I think, was bad, right? The thought behind it is great. We are always complaining, like, hey, you're giving us a trash legendary, you're watering down the pool. There's over 700 champions in the champion pool already. We need some other ways to be able to, acquire some of these champions. And they gave us the prism crystals, they gave us now these primal crystals. But I think the implementation of how it was put out, I think that kind of needs a new direction on the drawing board, right? And the biggest thing is this right here, right? They're valued at 5 times of what an ancient is, but are basically the same, right? It's basically the same between that and the sacred. It's kind of nuts. Now, real quick, what were your thoughts the moment you looked at the price? What was like the first thought that went through your head? I'm going to throw this to Jay first.
When I saw the price for the shard, I was like, oh, they must be joking. It must be like a joke. But then the reasoning on the pack, especially that pack that got people triggered, was, but look at the silver. And then you look at the silver, and you're like, wait a minute, does that say 300,000? That doesn't say 300 million. That doesn't say 3 million. That says 300K. That's only 300,000. That's nothing. They said that's equivalent to $5 to $10. I'm like, you must be insane. Like, do you even play your own game? Like, 300,000 is not worth that much silver. Is money, in terms of money, like real life money, like that's just crazy. Like, so I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, if an ancient shard is 50 cents to $1, depending on the person you are, you're not going to tell me that it's 8 to 10 times that amount. I'm still getting rares. If it was only epics, legendaries, and mythical, okay, cool. Right, now it's like a sacred, but like a some people's value is sacred around 6 to 8. So Plarim's values at 15 to 25, depending on what type of account you are and how much you spend. But like that's insane. Like I still think it's kind of crazy. It's just it's way too much. What would I spend for that? Like for one little primal? I mean, if an ancient shard's like the same, but it doesn't have a chance of getting a primal, and that's like 50 cents to $1, I'd probably say $3 for a primal. But they want 8 to 10. You're nuts. That's legit insanity.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, the pricing to me is ridiculous. Anything on this page is insanity, frankly. But I've put these up there kind of with how they originally priced the soul stones. Like the smallest and the mortal soul stones when they first came out were insanely priced. So I think this is a cash grab to get all the Krakens to shell out a bunch of money right away, and then they'll probably slowly come down. But it's crazy. I mean, I can't even look at that page. It's gross.
Horde, what about you?
I think they really should do some drug testing for their people that work for them, because this just doesn't make sense.
Okay. Kenpachi, what about you?
I mean, I am the last person to talk about the price. I think I don't even know the secret shard price. I mean, game is expensive. Like that's the real reason why I'm not spending. I'm not that poor. I'm a little bit less money, but not that poor. Okay, I don't mind to spend a little bit money if they do like local price. That's the biggest problem on this game. They doesn't have a local pricing, and especially if you have a bad economy like my country, there is no way you can spend. Like there is literally no way. But the thing is, makes me interesting. Mythical books are same price as legendary book, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a little bit interesting, like weird. So I guess that's a good thing for the spenders or bad thing. I really don't know, but that's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanna keep the tension a little bit low. That's what I'm guessing. Which is we still don't know how to get mythical tome as a free to play.
that
We
is
still
true.
don't know how to get them. There is no activities in the game. Even let's say 10,000 dungeon diver point for the mythical tome. No, it doesn't there. There's a 6,000 point for the PRIMAL shard, I think, which is this. I'm not doing that, by the way. Like, there is no point for the rare champion. But there is nothing we can obtain a mythical tome without spending money.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
gonna be paywall.
Definitely. Looks like it's going to be, I think, a little more scarce than what the legendary books are. But so I woke up. My son says, "Daddy, we are getting these red shards." So first thing I do is I open up the shop and I start looking at this, and I said, $50 for 5. I'm like, absolutely not. Looking at the Mercy, looking at everything, I'm just like, I hate to say it, but it's just a glorified ancient. And I was like, there is no way you will ever catch me with this, right? There's no way the credit card will be swiped for this whatsoever. Not for me. Not for me. But let me just acknowledge Raven. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us. Jace, welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us. Or to the stream. Sorry. So yeah, I think the price is way too much. I think it needs to, it's basically got the value somewhere between a void and an ancient, if I had to put my finger on it and say, where should this land? It's definitely not above a void, right? Especially because you can't get void champions. We don't have void champions, and void champions, I think Kenpachi did it on his stream, leaked a photo of a purple shard a couple of days ago. Of
I just
the
turned PRIMAL. Yeah, I just leaked the Void PRIMAL. Sorry, Void PRIMAL shard.
But yeah, we're gonna be getting void primal shards eventually. Again, speculation, nothing official, right? But eventually, I think they're going to be a different shard for that, and what are they gonna price that at? So
They are going to be broken, probably.
yeah. Now let's talk about the accessibility of these, right? Now we can get them from the login reward, right? So if you're around the 20-day mark, you can get it from there. We can get it from some of the events, right? Champion training, 12,000 points. Actually, not that bad. Champion training, usually there's a legendary book for about 10 to 15 that you can acquire. The artifact enhancement does not have any. The dungeon divers, 6,000 points. There's no way I'm doing that. I'm with Kenpachi on there. And then what else are we gonna get them? We can get them from Hydra, right? And when we get them from Hydra, we're only getting from the Hydra Clash, and you're getting Primal Quartz. I don't know. I think for myself, there is not enough given out, right? Basing this off of what we get for soul stones, which is about 10 if you're doing Hydra, another maybe 5 or 6 if you're doing Iron Twins. I think 15 is about an average of what we usually get. I think what we're currently getting is not enough, right? Especially for Hydra, especially for the Hydra Clash. What do you guys think? Are we getting enough? Should there be more accessible areas for us to acquire these? I'll start this with Gestal first.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think the quartz was a bad idea in these Hydra class chests. It certainly should be a couple shards. If not up to like 5 or 6 for the top chest, in my opinion. being that they are basically ancient shards with like a little bit better chances on them, and then obviously the mythical champ. But I think they're trying to keep it fairly rare now, again to get the money from the whales, the krakens. But they did mention that they are going to be opening a new PvE, so I'm going to assume that that's going to be the Great Void. I don't know what else it could be. So it depends on what that's going to end up looking like. Um, if it's something that we can farm daily, like we can now with Sacreds, Voids, and Ancients on Demon Lord, is it going to be more like that? Or is it going to be more like the Hydra where it's once a week? If it's once a week, that's not as good, in my opinion. These are basically ancient shards. I feel like you're going to need a lot of them to get anything out of it. You know what I mean? It's 300 for a guaranteed mythic. Obviously, it's probably not going to be 300. It's going to be more like 250, but still 250. That's a ton of shards, and if you're only getting them, from maybe 4 or 5 events in the week, and then you're getting the one a month, and then you're getting just the quartz. That's that's gonna take a long time to get one, man. Like I think these need to be, I think they need to aim. I think what their aim is for free to play should be, one a year. Keep them very rare. If they get to that point, that's probably pretty fair. If they don't, it's gonna stink for a lot of people who don't end up getting them.
Jay, what about you?
So actually, when we talked on the previous podcast, we thought they were gonna give us a lot less. They're gonna give us a decent amount. And that they did say that there's gonna be a chance for all players to be able to get themselves a mythical champion. So we're all gonna get one. But we don't know how it is or how accessible it's going to be. But in terms of just getting more primal shards, giving us quartz, I mean, they could have just gave us the shard, like Gestal said. Like, there's no point in giving us the quartz. I mean, even Mithrala, right? When you're getting one of the most powerful voids, like most players can get for their account, you literally just get fragments. Why can't we get fragments of a specific, maybe the one that they're gonna do that eventually for the Great Void, and we can get fragments of a specific champion, and that's how we get all of us get as a guaranteed. But as just quartz is like broken down, unless you're going to give it everywhere, unless it's going to literally be everywhere, you can just do multiple events and get tons of quartz so you can get more primal shards. Why break it down like that? Are they going to sell us primal quart packs and they're going to be a lot cheaper for people who don't want to? But that's the only thing I can think of. They should every other shard does not have anything down there, right? Why did they have to break this one into? Because it's so good, even though it's a glorified ancient. I don't know. I think all of this was kind of Plarium's way to kind of like ease it in. They didn't want people to 40-50% like just quit. It's kind of a way to like, hey, look, we're doing this new thing for the game. We don't want it to flood all the accounts because we know there's bots accounts and stuff like that. We don't want everybody, Krakens and everybody else, that you can't stop them. They're gonna spend. But like, you don't want everybody just getting tons of mythicals, right? Like, you don't want to just be like, oh snap, and then the people are gonna complain, where's all my tomes? I have all these champions, but I can't get them booked. So like they kind of slowly want to ease us in, and then I think over time we'll get more. So I wish there would have been a little bit more ways, and I hope the Great Void is one of the new ways we can get more quartz or primal shards, because once you start adding them all up and hold them, you're gonna have a decent amount. It's gonna take us like Jessica was saying, don't expect to get one every month. This is not a fusion. This is not it's not like one of your sacreds or void like champions you might get. I get a void Lego like every 6 months to a year sometimes, depending on what's going on. But you're just gonna have to wait. Just be patient. You never know. You might get that specific one, or you might never get no mythicals, but you get yourself like 8 to 10 Legos extra that you would have never gotten, and that could help out your faction guardians or empowerment. So that's how I look at it.
Okay. Did I already ask Cord? No. Go ahead.
Yeah, I could definitely see, because when I watched that video and they said mythical, I never did hear them say that everybody's gonna get a mythical champion. I think they said everybody has a chance at one, meaning pull it from a shard. Because I don't see how they would actually be let's see, that friendly of non-payment for something that everybody would want. So I would definitely see it being more Mothrola based. Do this and build it up over time. And instead of getting soul stones, get not primal shards, but quartz
Quartz.
with it instead of soul stones. Yeah. And so it'd be like a Mothrola Hydra run, but instead you get primal based stuff. So you get the books there, you get the shards there, you get fragments for champions there, and everything like that. I think it might be all primal dungeon, pretty much. Could be. I don't know.
Okay. Kenpachi?
I agree with the J and the Gestal about the quartz. Like quartz are definitely doesn't make sense. Like it makes everything confused, and to be honest, like come on guys, like you are gonna finish Hydra Clash one time, number one, and there is a chance you can get 30 and 75, which means if you get a 30 back to back, it's gonna be a high chance. You need to win Hydra Clash 4 times to get one Primal shard. Or potential, very high potential, one rare champion. It should be at least number one clan get 3 Primal, number 2, 2, and number 3 got at least one Primal shard there. That will be make sense. And second of all, they doesn't need to release new content to give us new stuff. There is lots of that content in the game. Like the Marchan said earlier. He said like Taktim Arena, garbage, stuff like that, right? Let me add a couple of more content. Like you can add them on the Taktim Arena. Bazaar, you can add them there. There you go. One more reason to push people on there. Secret Room. Who doing Secret Room after Get Romanto? Secret Room Legendary Champion are worse than Epic Secret Room Champion. How is it possible? Like how you design something like that? Like Secret Room is one of the hardest content because you have to pray for the RNG. You have to give your champion stun set. This is the how you beat them. Like rare magic room, rare attack room, stuff like that. This kind of rooms. And at their Prima shard, there go people gonna build their champion for it. People has to do that now. And nobody gonna be compliment. We are gonna say, hey guys, look, we just literally put Prima shard everywhere in the game. There we go. If you guys can beat them, you can get them. It's gonna be taking less tension, to be honest. It's gonna take a less aggressive from the community. I really don't know the quartz, like whose idea is that. Is like, like if they're gonna do quartz, they're gonna do that event. Like let's say they are gonna replace the ancient shard with the quartz. That's what they are gonna do. Like I won't do that. Like if their number is gonna be high, I definitely don't do that. I really don't. I don't even do Imperial shard right now because their number is high. I don't really. Yeah, I'm gonna say the bad word because I don't know the another option. I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna stop talking.
So I mean, for myself, I don't think that it's enough. I think we need to be able to acquire about 10 to 15 a week, and I think that would be fine. So the rewards base, we are also if and we have no confirmation on how. Sorry, I did forget. Platinum Arena, you will be able to get some if you place. But we have no confirmation whether it's just like the 1%, like if you're at the ultra level, or if it's just which part. So we did find that out as well, right? But and I think Mr. Mo puts it the best. I think the feeling that a lot of us are going to be getting is this is another currency in the game that is diluting the pool of what we currently have, right? People already complaining that we don't get enough legendary books. We're not getting enough shards. We're not getting enough energy. This is not just one, but 2 pieces of loot that is going to be in the game now that they can dilute the pool with, which I'm kind of not happy with, right? There's just already so much in the reward tables. Like, I think they need to reel it back and, at least make it. I know that the way that you can, your rewards are based on by your level, right? So when you're hitting level 100, my rewards are different than everybody else's at level 40 or 50. And I think that that's what it needs to be based off of. But what does he say here? Yeah, give me $1,000 Taurus so I can finish plat and get... exactly, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I want to ask you guys though. We've I put the question to you guys. Where would you want to see? Where's one place that you would want to see the rewards being put in that is going to be accessible to the free-to-play player, throughout the community? And I'm going to start this with Kempachi first.
Free to play early game or the end game?
Anywhere, just in general. So a player comes in, I guess from early game, free to play, where they're going to be able to obtain something like this because, it does give you an opportunity to get an epic champion, a legendary champion, or a mythical champion, also a rare. But, where would you think would be somewhere that, you'd want to see them being able to get it reoccurring week to week?
Maybe mission reward, to encourage them. There is some secret chart there, I think, some ancient and void chart. Maybe they can edit on the missions. Maybe they can just put there one missions.
Okay.
Because
so
if you add them on the quest, you can get them every time you finish the quest. Every month, stuff like that. They are mythical champion, like I said earlier. It shouldn't be that easy to obtain them. Like, get a secret chart on the early game is not that easy. So you cannot get them. Like, you cannot do Ultra Nightmare combos. The only way to get a secret chart is daily login. Your monthly quest and the missions one time only, right? Maybe faction war reward can be nice as well. One time only again. But again, like, I don't think it's supposed to be easy to obtain them on the early game, especially. I'm not talking about free to play or the spenders. But definitely more places needed, especially on the end game. Like I said earlier, Takdim Arena Bazaar would be nice. Secret Room must be nice. This is kind of places not many people are interesting, and this will take some attention of the people. Definitely Hydra Clash should be give us PRIMAL shard, not the QUARTS. And yeah, this is the places comes to my mind at the moment.
Okay, so you'd want to see it somewhere in the missions, getting us a couple in there. Okay.
Yeah, one time only.
Okay. Jay, what about you? What do you think?
This is supposed to be the year of PvP, right? So if they really wanted that to be the truth, then why not put it in the areas of PvP? I think, like you were saying, if the community wants to get more over time and it doesn't want to be super endgame content like the Great Void or Hydra or stuff like that, then you gotta, I do agree with the secret rooms, man. 80% of the Legos are not great. Like, I was talking to this about my stream yesterday. It's crazy. Like, Chromax needs to be reduced his cooldowns. The Grunjar needs to be AoE on his A2. Like, it's crazy. Like how Thea in the beginning used to be worse, but she's actually better now that we have more Hex champions. And Euros is the only thing people use it for solo or maybe faction wars. But it's like a lot of those in Jinro needs to be reduced on one of his skills on his passive and the A3 for him to be like really, really good. How are all these hard Doom Tower stuff like supposed to be end game like legendaries you can get, but they're all like meh, like it's like what the so they definitely need to put, I would say, hard Doom Tower should probably be at least one rotation, once a month, get one primal there. Then I think you should get some from Live Arena. It doesn't matter if you're bronze, silver, or gold. It's just they probably give you more per rank. So like bronze, you probably might get one. But you have to but kind of like Tag Team Arena, you have to do a certain amount of like matches per week. If you do that, then boom, you can get your reward. Otherwise, you would lose it. So they could do something like that to get more engagement, get players actually playing the content that they spent their time and said that, they wanted this to be the year of PvP. So there you go. That would get me to actually do more Live Arena. Honestly, I'm doing more tag and other stuff, and Hydra. But that would definitely, I think, Tag Team Arena should have it in the shop. I think Live Arena should give it to you every single week if you do like 10 or 20 games, whatever they want. And Hard Doom Tower should have it in the secret rooms after you got in the champions. Or they could just put it all the way to the top, instead of being that sacred, they could put that primal all the way at the top at Dark Fae, at, hard mode or normal. So That's what I would do.
You stop. They already took my sacred shard away from my daily login. I don't want them taking it away from Doom Tower, Jay.
Bruh,
You're
it's
fired.
just one sacred shard.
You're fired.
It's one
It
sacred
doesn't
shard.
matter. It's a guaranteed one of the 4 sacreds that I can use to do my fusions every month. You're fired.
Get good. Get good, bro.
Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I like all the options people are throwing out there. I don't think I think the only thing that early game I guess they would worry about is if like a lot of bot accounts are created and started pulling mythical champs and then they start selling those accounts or whatever. I think that'd be the only downside of maybe having them like very accessible early on. Not that like missions are really super early, but all these other places I think would make sense. The fact of the matter is, right, you need 300 of them, 200 to 300 of them to probably get one. So if you're getting one a month, that's absurd. But if you're getting 100 a week, then that's like nothing. So you certainly got to find a kind of a good balance there to keep these somewhat rare. So I think I would say really what I'm hoping for, and I've already mentioned this, but really what I'm hoping for is that the Great Void is a Demon Lord clan boss reward type, a daily reward, something you can farm daily, and you would get these primal shards from that. That's probably I feel like would be the best way to get you a chance of getting, 1 or 2 a day or something like that.
Okay. Horde, what about you?
I definitely miss the regular quest that we used to get when we first started the game, and it would say daily, weekly, monthly, and then every time you would complete one, you would get an epic book first, legendary, then shards, and it would be completely free, which was the best part. But once you were done with it, the whole tab just went away. I would say maybe bring one of those back, add it to Clan Boss, or even like Gestal said, if the new uh, thing is going to be a Clan Boss type, add it to there and stop the whole fragment thing because that just doesn't make sense.
So
If people start getting comfortable with that, they're going to start doing it with all their shards, and that's going to just have other people not want to do it anymore.
kind of like primal challenges.
Yeah. So have like primal reward. So like not speed runs, just like they had us do with we even had to go back to campaign before because when they came out with Nightmare, everybody had to 3-star it in less than what was it, 10 minutes in order
Yep.
to get the what was it, the mission done or something.
Yeah, the sacred shard.
Yeah, everybody had to 3 stars that again and give us something that would bring back like the old feeling like it used to be.
Okay. So for me, I think one of the best places, and that's not going to break the game, is going to be through the monthly quests, right? I think, excuse me, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. I feel like,
Me too.
thank you. I feel like this XP right here, I mean, and it may not be the same for every player. I don't know, because again, I haven't been free to play, but the XP for 3 days, I don't find beneficial, especially when your account hits level 100. So I think maybe replacing this and putting a primal here, you don't have to worry about the bots doing that because it's going to take a lot of time. And if you're just adding one there, it's not going to be like, oh, let me log in, let me just do a daily quest and that's it. It's going to take you 55 quests, which is going to be, about a week for you to be able to obtain one of these. So the bots are going to have to put in that much work. So I think, somewhere around here, get rid of this. You could even move this down a little bit and put it, somewhere in the middle. Don't replace the Lego Bookplarium, please. Don't. But yeah, I think somewhere, here is one of the best ones. And I did do a full video where, where other places they can put them in. And I think one of the biggest things, like Kempachi was saying, is, if you put it in the room, if you put it in the rewards over here with the bazaar, but not gate it behind, excuse me, not get it behind being in gold or silver, just put it down in the bronze level and let them farm it out. Then I think it's going to bring people into the stream, not stream, into the 3v3. So, but Zero Brew, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Guys, if you don't know, Zero Brew is a content creator for Raid Shadow Legends as well. He streams over on Twitch and YouTube. Make sure you guys go watch him and follow him. He's definitely fun to hang out with. Does a lot of late night stuff. Actually, I kind of like watching him when I'm trying to wind down for bed, even though the stream is so hype.
That's like he helps you sleep.
Yes. I see him spreading so much energy, it makes me exhausted, so I go to sleep. But all right, it has been a wonderful 2 hours, guys. You have been great at being here with us. The chat has been great at chatting with us. There's been a lot of great ideas. Do let us know in the comments down below what you guys think about the discussions. This isn't going to be a one and done thing. I feel there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. I'm sure we'll be talking about it next week and the week after that. Nothing's going to change for a while. We're just going to be finding out more things. So let us know in the comments down below what you guys think. Now, before I let everybody go, where can everybody find you? Jay?
You can find me on YouTube, Jarec3. You can find me on twitch.tv. Primarily, those are 2 places.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Twitch.tv/Gestal Gaming. Stream 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock every Sunday through Friday. So I'll be on right after the stream here. And on the YouTubes, Gestal Gaming, man, look me up.
Okay. Kempachi?
I'm streaming every day on Twitch, Columbus Reset, FinalKenpachi. People can find me with that. And at the same time, YouTube with the same name, FinalKenpachi.
Okay. And Horde, where can everybody find you?
Horde Sport 87 TTV on Twitch almost daily.
Okay. And then shout out. I'm going to start with, let's go Kempachi first.
I like to shout out almost 100 people who got a mythical champion. I just checked the rating. You guys are very lucky. By the way, I just checked the rating. Obviously, rating doesn't mean exact number. Maybe some of them didn't vote it. But looks like Secret Order won the highest rating right now, 96. And the Sylvian Watcher is the 91.
Wow.
Enjoy, guys.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
I was gonna give a shout out to my clan, my man Harry running it over there, and Ego Montoya. I've been in the same clan since the beginning. Great group of guys. A lot of them came over to the stream, and when I first started streaming, and kind of gave me the boost of having some people watching you. It's tough early on, so much love to my clan, man. Awesome community over there.
Okay. Horde, what about you?
I just love everybody and just keep doing what we're doing. Try to make the community more positive than it used to be.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
I'm gonna shout out Time Twin for asking a very important question when it comes to affinities. Asking for a friend.
Hey, I can't say I know everything, but I put the question out there. My shout out this week is going to go actually to the Plarium community managers. I really didn't know a lot of the things that go on behind the scenes that they do. And since becoming official with Plarium, for any person out there that thinks the content creators aren't voicing everything you guys hear, believe me, they do, right? And, I look at the community managers as mid-level management, and, they're going to get it from the top, they're going to get it from the bottom. So it's really, really, they enjoy the job, and, my shout out goes out to them and for all the hard work that they do and everything that they have to listen to. I feel like if that happened to me, I'd be going home every day opening a bottle of Johnny, but Before everybody goes, though, one last thing. We are official with Raid, so we are doing a Chronom giveaway for anybody who comments on any video or live stream from September 1st until October 1st. You can comment on any video, any live stream, any YouTube show we put out, and then we will put it live on the stream on October 1st, and I will do either 6 or 3, whatever you need to obtain your Chronom. So for anybody out there that is looking for one, really simple. You don't need to be subscribed to the channel. You don't need to like any videos. Just leave a comment so I know who it is. So, as always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and we'll catch you guys on the next time.